And then what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
You think it's like defending Caitlyn or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
Wow, that's about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull away in the second half, Caitlyn in particular?
We're going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that?
The WNBA might be pushing away the one person keeping it alive. Caitlyn Clark, the league's biggest name, is reportedly on the edge. And now, the talk isn't just frustration. It's about walking away. What started as rookie hazing has spiraled into something darker. Cheap shots during games, refs turning blind, and a league that seems to hate the woman saving it. Instead of protecting her, they isolate her. Instead of praising her, they punish her. Now, a new rumor is exploding. Caitlyn's planning a move so bold, it could shatter the WNBA's image and leave the whole league begging for the spotlight she brought. And if it's true, this league may never recover.
WNBA record. This is her second season. And you put the numbers together, that's like 10 seasons. That girl did it in 10 seasons. That means she had one a season. Caitlyn Clark is... when Caitlyn Clark gets to 10 seasons, she's going to have 100 of these. And y'all can't get a girl her roses. Now, I don't like the fact that she be getting woke because she don't want all these lesbians to be mad at it. At the end of the day, is the woman putting in the work, she's putting in the work. And
To understand why Caitlyn's even thinking about leaving, you have to see how massive her impact really is. The numbers don't whisper, they scream. Before Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA was barely getting noticed. After she showed up, it turned into must-watch TV. She didn't just boost ratings, she flipped the whole league on its head. Empty arenas became sold-out crowds overnight, and not just in Indiana, everywhere she played. Some teams were so overwhelmed by the demand, they had to move games into full-size NBA arenas, just to fit the flood of fans chasing a glimpse of her magic.
This is all going according to plan. This is ideal. Caitlyn Clark is holding up her end by being awesome and by being a trash-talking jerk on the court. Love it. Her teammates are holding up their end by having her back. The other players in the league are holding up their end by not liking her. Perfect. Couldn't have written a better script. Caitlyn is talking trash to this girl's hard fouling her. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham, who got a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 6, she's like, I will F you guys up. All of it's great, and Caitlyn's a killer. 10 out of 10.
Her jersey didn't just sell, it exploded. It became the top-selling jersey across all sports the moment it dropped. TV ratings, sky high. The league's viewership didn't just go up, it tripled. But the real shocker came when she sat out with a minor injury. Just like that, ratings crashed. Hard. We're talking a 55% drop, one player missing, and more than half the league's audience disappeared. That's not a player. That's the entire market. Caitlyn Clark is carrying the league, including the same players who mock her, while cashing the checks she's making possible.
Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point, and say, Caitlyn, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a complete different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA just to embarrass this Angel Reese girl that Jameel Hill just said she could go down as a Michael Jordan of WNBA.
Yeah, she brought the money, the ratings, and the fans. But her welcome to the league, it felt less like a red carpet and more like a setup for a beatdown in a dark alley. From day one, it was clear. Teams weren't trying to defend her. They were trying to break her. This wasn't just rough basketball. It looked personal. Every night turned into a war zone. Elbows, shoves, and off-ball hits that felt more like cheap shots than defense. And then came that moment. Marina Mabrey launched her with a full-body blow, miles away from the play. No ball, no defense. Just pure intent to knock her down. And no one stepped in.
I'll say this. When Caitlyn Clark was out, they lost 55% of their viewership. So, basically, Caitlyn Clark is paying all their salaries.
Pretty much.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can hate her as much as you want, but she's brought in millions of fucking dollars. So you should be kissing her ass.
And that kind of defeated the purpose of Angel Reese's argument of she's like, hey, it's not just Caitlyn Clark that is bringing all the viewership to the WNBA. It's like, well, It definitely is. It's like it kind of proved that with the viewership rating being down, that she significantly increases viewership with.
They tried so hard to compare her to Caitlyn Clark.
It was the kind of hit you'd expect in a hockey fight, not on a basketball court. But the most frustrating part for her haters was how she responded. Caitlyn didn't lash out. She didn't cry foul. She just got up, shook it off, and kept playing like nothing happened. And somehow, that made things worse. Her calm wasn't seen as class. It was twisted into arrogance. That quiet strength, it lit a fire under every jealous rival. So the hits kept coming. Harder, nastier, more obvious. The message was loud and bitter. You will not outshine us. If we can't beat you with game, we'll beat you with brute force.
Clark, without question, gets raked across the face. I think she gets poked in the eye, but it's difficult to tell.
If you're the Indiana Fever, you cannot stand by and let that happen. They need to make it clear to the officials. If you're going to let this happen, then we're going to stand up for our player and make a mess of the game, and you're going to have a big mess on your hands. So you need to stand up for this. You need to do something about this.
You've just learned with definitive data and beyond question that Caitlyn Clark controls more than half the audience for the entire WNBA.
But the hits on the court were only part of the story because the people paid to enforce the rules were nowhere to be found, while Caitlyn was being treated like a human piñata. The referees seemed to be looking the other way. Their whistles apparently lost. Blatant aggressive fouls were ignored or called as common fouls, sending a clear signal to the rest of the league. It's open season. The WNBA front office, the very institution that should have been protecting its golden goose, remained deafeningly silent. They were quicker to comment on dress code violations than on the systematic targeting of their biggest star.
We're expecting some sort of dip since Caitlyn Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
The silence from the league, it didn't just confuse fans, it lit a fire. That's when the Protect Caitlyn Clark movement exploded online. Fans became detectives, replaying every hit in slow motion, circling dirty screens, and begging for a flagrant foul that never came. What they uncovered was ugly. The WNBA wanted her fame, her ticket sales, her ratings, but they wouldn't give her the basic protection any other player gets. This wasn't just carelessness, it felt deliberate, like the league was silently nodding along as the hits kept coming.
I am sick and tired of the way they are treating my girl, Caitlyn Clark. I am here to propose a solution. I think they need an enforcer. You know, someone who comes off the bench to kind of lay the smackdown on an opposing team member. I want to get the word out to the Indiana Fever that I am available. I'm ready to identify as whatever I need to in order to get the job. They need someone like me. Why? Because I'm not afraid of any 6 foot tall lesbian. I work out. Now, I have a couple of real good go-to moves in my bag of tricks.
And just when you thought things couldn't get any more twisted, the media stepped in and pointed the finger at her. Instead of calling out the cheap shots, the dangerous fouls, or the silence from the refs, they blamed Caitlyn Clark. Why? Because she was too confident. Because she talked trash, like every elite athlete does. Suddenly, the victim became the villain. It was ridiculous. This is pro sports, built on ego, fire, and mind games. Michael Jordan lived off trash talk. Larry Bird crushed people before tip-off just with his mouth. But when Caitlyn does it, she deserves the punishment. Make it make sense.
Oh, it's just shit I don't like. A snitch, nigga, it's that shit I don't like. Oh,
you know, they get into it a bit here. Lexi Holdown gets it.
Oh, bitch, nigga.
Sheldon's face, Caitlyn Clark hits the deck.
Sneak decides that's that shit I don't like.
Sheldon and Cunningham are getting into it.
A snitch, nigga, that's that shit I don't like.
Caitlyn Clark with a few words with JC Sheldon.
When the greats trash talk, it's called passion. It's part of their legend. But when Caitlyn Clark shows that same fire, Suddenly, she's asking for it. Like confidence is a crime. Fans watched in disbelief as commentators twisted themselves into knots, trying to excuse violent shoves by breaking down her body language. Seriously? That's like blaming a mailbox for getting hit by a drunk driver. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. In the WNBA, if you're a bold woman who backs it up, you're not respected. You're targeted.
Caitlyn Clark has decided to quit the WNBA and move on and go play over in Europe. I do not blame her. I applaud it. I say do it. Get as far away from the WNBA as you can. Let that league sink. Okay? Do not help them, Caitlyn. Get away. I believe you could create your own league, okay? You could be the fucking player that creates whatever, the next professional women's basketball league. Let this one just go and let Caitlyn try to build the next
The hate didn't just come from opponents. It ran deeper, baked right into the culture of the league's veterans. The word? Gatekeeping. Some players acted like Caitlyn hadn't earned her place. But earned what exactly? She was already the face of the league, bringing more money and attention in months than entire franchises had in decades. The bitterness was thick. Veterans who'd been grinding for years suddenly felt like side characters in the Caitlyn Clark show, and they hated it. Her rivalry with Angel Reese? Just a symptom. The real issue was a full-blown identity crisis across the league. Instead of riding the wave, some players seemed more focused on knocking her down, like proving who ran the court mattered more than saving the whole kingdom from falling apart.
I want to get your opinion because it's been a minute on this Angel Reese, Caitlyn Clark stuff that's been going on. Brittany Griner a couple of weeks ago in a video says trash effing white girl when she was playing Caitlyn Clark. What's your just kind of 30,000-foot view of this?
There is not an organization more dedicated and committed to self-imploding than the WNBA. The WNBA was like handed the golden egg that is Caitlyn Clark. Yeah. And they have done everything to just self-destruct. Yeah. Whether it's these totally crazy like racial investigations that have been proven a hoax.
And now we come back to the unthinkable, the rumor that started it all, that Caitlyn Clark might walk away. But this isn't just a sad story of mistreatment anymore. This is where it flips into a revenge story. There are two theories floating around, and both wild. First, the European escape. She ditches the WNBA, signs a massive overseas deal, and gets everything she's been denied. Real respect, real protection, and a league that actually wants her there. No drama, no politics, just basketball and big money. The second theory, even crazier, the billionaire's gambit. Imagine a rich investor stepping in and telling her, here's $50 million, sit out, watch the WNBA crumble without you. Or better yet, they launch a brand new league, one built around her. It would be the most ruthless power move in sports history, and it just might be exactly what the WNBA deserves.
Clark did her thing. Coming off of the injury, she returned for the Fever, and I swear I am not being hyperbolic. We were immediately gifted one of the greatest halves we have ever seen in the WNBA, and I say that with all context involved. This series from Caitlyn Clark, the pull-up three here, and you are about to see back-to-back-to-back triples for Caitlyn Clark in this game. I am not trying to erase the things we have seen from Maya Moore, from Diana Taurasi, Asia Wilson's 53-point game, Stewie, Cynthia Cooper. Like, we have seen incredible halves of basketball, but you see Caitlyn Clark coming off of that made three from the Liberty. Pull up, of course. She's making it in that moment.
Let's talk about this so-called rivalry the media and certain players keep trying to sell. Every great sport has its iconic matchups. Magic versus Bird, Federer versus Nadal. But those were built on respect. Two greats pushing each other to greatness. What's happening with Caitlyn Clark? This isn't rivalry, it's obsession. When Angel Reese smacked her in the head with a flagrant foul and then got cheered on the bench, that wasn't competitive fire. That was pure hate. This isn't two stars lifting each other up. This is one woman playing the game, and others doing everything they can to drag her down. Caitlyn's not caught in a legendary rivalry. She's stuck in a hostile spotlight, surrounded by players more focused on her than the scoreboard. And somehow, it keeps getting worse. Because even when she keeps her cool, even when she walks away from cheap shots and just focuses on the game, they still find ways to twist it. If she shows frustration, she's entitled. If she stays calm, she's arrogant. If she says something, she's a diva. If she says nothing, she's cold. It's a no-win trap. She's expected to act like a perfect robot, while taking hits that would have started brawls in any other league. Meanwhile, the ones throwing elbows and stirring the drama, they skate by with no consequences, no media blame, no accountability. The double standard isn't just frustrating, it's disgusting. They've taken what could have been a powerful moment in women's sports and turned it into a toxic circus. This isn't just a physical battle, it's psychological warfare. Caitlyn Clark is expected to be the bigger person every single time. She's not just taking elbows on the court, she's carrying the emotional weight of an entire league's insecurity, and then being judged for how gracefully she handles it. But here's the bigger problem. This isn't just about now. The WNBA is playing a dangerous long game, and it looks like self-destruction. Because guess who's watching all of this? Every talented young girl dreaming of going pro, every college star, every future phenom. And what do they see? The league's biggest star, treated like an outsider, her success being punished, her fame turned into fuel for jealousy and violence. Why would any rising star want to walk into that? Why step into a league that doesn't celebrate its best, but tears them down? If this keeps up, the WNBA won't just lose Caitlyn. They'll lose the entire next generation. And it's not just fans and players watching. Corporate sponsors are paying close attention too. These brands don't throw millions at chaos. They invest in momentum, growth, and clean, exciting stories. But right now, the WNBA looks messy. Petty infighting, PR disasters, a league that can't even protect its biggest star. That's not just a bad look, it's a business risk. By letting this happen to Caitlyn Clark, they're not just risking one player, they're burning trust. They're damaging the league's image and possibly scaring away both future stars and the very money needed to survive. And that brings us to the heartbreaking truth. Caitlyn is stuck in a cruel paradox. The league needs her to stay alive, but it's punishing her for being great. She's the face of the brand, and somehow also the target for every cheap shot. If she stays, she's choosing more of the same. More flagrant fouls, more silence from officials, more blame for problems she didn't cause. She's carrying the league on her back while getting hit from all sides. If Caitlyn Clark walks away, don't call it surrender. It won't be weakness. It'll be the strongest move of her life. It would be a line in the sand, a message loud and clear. My talent, my health, and my dignity are worth more than a league that refuses to value any of it. This wouldn't be a breakdown. This would be self-respect. But here's where it gets chilling. The WNBA isn't just letting this happen, it's pushing it. They were handed a golden ticket, a once-in-a-generation icon ready to bring women's basketball to the mainstream. And they're tearing it to shreds. This is self-sabotage on a level so deep, it's almost hard to believe. And now, we're left with one terrifying question. What happens the day after she leaves? When the crowds vanish? When sold-out arenas echo with silence? When ratings tank? When the networks stop airing games in primetime? When the only time anyone says WNBA again is in a documentary asking, how did they let Caitlyn Clark slip away? That silence, it'll sound like regret, like failure, like a league that finally has to face the ugly truth, that they didn't just lose a player, they chased away the very star who could have saved them. And in doing so, they didn't just hurt themselves, they might have ended the whole thing. So now the ball is in the WNBA's court, but they're fumbling it with both hands. They begged for a savior, then turned on her the second she showed up. Caitlyn Clark didn't just give them relevance, she was the relevance. And if she walks, she takes the spotlight, the sponsors, the fans, and the future with her. The league has one shot to make it right, but every silent whistle, every ignored foul, every jealous jab is one step closer to losing everything. Because if Caitlyn Clark leaves, she won't just be escaping the chaos, she'll be exposing it, and the league she leaves behind, it'll be remembered not for what it built, but for who it drove away.